What's up guys, Simon here. In this video, I wanted to take a different direction and discuss business lessons from the mob or the mafia and how they relate to today's business practices or even as an entrepreneur. So before I get into this video, go ahead and hit the like button for me and subscribe to my channel if you have not done so already. I appreciate it. Let's whack this video. So you guys may have seen some cool mob movies. There's Goodfellas, Casino, no one could forget The Godfather 1 and 2, 3 was okay. Then there's Donnie Brasco, A Bronx Tale, Once Upon a Time in America, and there's even Russian mob movies such as Brigade, a bunch of others that I'm sure I have not mentioned. However, the mob and the movies, they all depict a sort of business application to the mafia lifestyle. And I've always loved mob movies. As a kid growing up, I always respected the way the mafia or the mob would structure their authority or business, but a lot of the things that they were doing actually applies to today's business world without the killing involved. That part, if you take away from the mob or the mafia, you really see a lot of entrepreneurism or even business people. In fact, a lot of America was established because of Al Capone, the Prohibition era, etc. So the trucking, the freight, the booze, and things that have created what America is today has a lot of influence from the mafia, including the unions. So in this video, I kind of wanted to correlate a business person to a potential mobster and show you the differences and the lessons learned from mobsters and apply it to everyday business practices. So the loyalty in mobsters, especially in early days with mobsters like Mayor Lansky, Al Capone, Lucky Luciano, Gotti, just to name the few, were really about respect, hierarchy, and things of that nature. But they were also very like-minded business people that shared a lot of drive and ambition to do more. They basically revolutionized business practices, the US economy that diverted from the mobster rule. So the difference between top mobsters in comparison to businessmen such as Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Richard Branson, and other businessmen or CEOs or corporate leaders is that the mobsters broke what is the common law and did things that were above what's accepted by today's society. But if you look at the skill sets both factors of those individuals share, mobsters and CEOs share the same components. So the first thing mobsters and today's top businessmen shared, and what we learned, or maybe what you could correlate between the two, is the skill of negotiation. Mobsters negotiated everything from territory to purchases to killing to acquisitions, and they demanded respect. That's no different than any negotiation from any high-level executive. They still need to be able to negotiate properly to win that position, to make sure that they're the top producer in the business that they're in. They have the best partnership contract, etc. So mobsters and top-level executives are both excellent negotiators in their trade. Point number 2, mobsters and businessmen always find the answer. If pinched in a hole, a mobster's job or responsibility is to get their team, company, or crew out of that pinch. Mobsters never took the straight road ahead. They had to figure out how to get out of a situation in the most clever way possible without snitching and without affecting their bottom line. Basically, they had to figure out how to solve the problem, or they were problem solvers. This resonates with every top CEO in business out there that has to find a solution to the problem in their business. So mobsters and businessmen definitely share a correlation with finding out the answer for the problem. Mobsters and mafia figures and leaders in the mob, as well as businessmen, have a knack for putting top teams together. The most successful mafias would structure their teams and their hierarchy just like a corporation, from the top boss all the way down to the capos and the underbosses and the soldiers and everybody in between. That is the same hierarchy that you see with businesses today, which is CEOs at the top, VPs and presidents, and then you have your chief operating officers, financial officers, and so forth, consiglieres.
Consigliere.
And the mafia would tell the mobsters or the top bosses kind of what direction to take, and you have advisors and board members in the current business world. So mobsters had the structure of organizing their corporation or their brand or team in the same way that top CEOs do today. Mobsters understood how to reward people and also reward their top performers. And the same with executives in today's business world. In the mob world, paying a individual under you the right amount of money could potentially mean life or death for the top person. So you wanted to make sure that you had a happy crew that does not want to take over. In the CEO world, it's a little bit more lax or lenient. If they don't pay their people properly or don't appreciate or show appreciation properly, that individual could go to the next company and take their secrets and talents with them. So they would potentially lose on future growth. Mobsters understood that early. They knew that if they don't appreciate the person that's working under them, if they don't pay them enough, they could switch families, they could whack you, pretty much do a coup against the top boss. And that has happened many times with many mobsters getting whacked and someone taking over.
Remember this? Charlie, Cecilia Law, remember? You kill a Don.
Just do like I said. Slow.
What are you doing?
Wait slowly. As I tortured you?
No. Actually, it's what you did 15 years ago.
Jesus, Charlie. You want revenge after 15 years?
I've been busy.
Keeping people happy was essential to long runs for top dogs in the mafia family, as well as CEOs and company executives. Point number 5, mobsters knew that their word meant everything. So if they promised someone something, they had to make sure that that promise was delivered. They understood that when you promise someone something and you don't deliver, that person is going to have resentment and negativity towards you and what you're trying to build. The same way with executives. If they promise someone something, they understand that they need to deliver. There's a big saying, do as you say and say as you do. That is the saying that the mob lives on to make sure that their team is happy. The mob bred loyalty. Just like in any activity or group or clan, they want loyalty. And the mob understood that loyalty is essential. Loyalty in the mafia was probably the most important aspect when they were recruiting versus, say, loyalty in the business side, because we do see people and employees jumping from company to company based on salary and opportunity. In the mob, that jump would never happen and you would be risking your life.
How did he die?
All right.
Was on his way to talk to a federal prosecutor. Got hit by a truck. Twice.
And CEOs know that if they hire top talent, they try to recruit people, keep them happy, and make sure that individual is loyal. So CEOs and executives do breed loyalty within their group and try to make sure that their team is happy. Point number 7, the mafia believed in trusted advisors. In Godfather, Michael was getting consulted at all times with the next logical move. It was often a legal move. It was often a move whether or not they should take out another member of the family or an opposing family or get into a business that they may have never entered before. Every single decision involved a concierge, someone that's clear-headed, not like an enforcer, not a hothead, someone that would actually make a solid business decision on the benefit of the family to move forward or not move at all. And in businesses or corporations have board members, and they also have advisors or legal counsels to make a proper move or a proper decision in moving forward on any type of decision regarding the business. That's how mob families and businesses share a correlation, by understanding that outside advisors or someone else giving their viewpoint is essential to the proper move that they need to make. Collaboration and partnerships were essential to the mob families and mobsters, as they are essential to corporations and corporate companies and their executives. So the skill set that mobsters had in collaboration was essential to their growth and success. Mobsters would collaborate with other families, other races, other crime organizations, attorneys and judges, and everyone in between to make sure that their goal is met and that they are having a smoother ride to get to the top. They also had to collaborate with other mob bosses to make sure that there is a peace and you're not stepping over on territory and trying to avoid a bloodbath or a competitive problem. In businesses, collaboration and partnerships with the right partners is essential to survival for the business. So whether or not you have a partnership in the best factory, the best supplier, best service provider, whatever it may be, collaborations and partnerships in any single aspect are essential to businesses to have the competitive advantage of getting their products or quality or service there when necessary to outdo the competition. So executives and mobsters both understand that standpoint, and that's how they are related as well. Mobsters knew the importance of in-person meetings. Today, everything is done on Zoom, of course, but in the past, an in-person meeting would give you an advantage, a competitive advantage to settle a score, to do a partnership deal, or to move to the next level of advancement. Those that were meeting in person, drinking together, and having a good time tended to trust each other more and make things happen.
Jojo comes into the bar, right? He's wearing a solid gold buckle. This big, says Jojo on it. He's got a bracelet on his arm, says Jojo on it. Got a fucking necklace, says Jojo on it. He's got solid gold cufflinks, so they all say Jojo on it, right?
What's the name?
Little chink bellhop walks in, he says, "Excuse me, Mr. Jojo." He says, "Shut the up, I don't want nobody to know I'm here."
Businesses understand in-person meetings, and that's why there was so much business travel between countries and cities and everything of that nature. So when you would travel to see your factory producers and you'd have dinner and lunch with the owner of the factory, you were building relationships, and building relationships and partnerships is essential to success, whether you are in the mafia or if you were running a business as an executive or a top level guy. One thing that mobsters and business people or executives share is work ethic. Both mobsters and top level executives would outwork you, so they share that common component. They would work the hardest, they would make things happen, they would be creative thinkers, they would not give up, and top executives do the same thing. Not only did they have a strong work ethic, but they led by leadership. So they would show that they are going to do the things that they are discussing, and they made sure that they saw that coming out of their teams, their management, and the people under them, and it carried all the way down to your employees or soldiers or anyone that's supporting the mafia or the corporations that we see today. Both mobsters and top level executives go for the big payday, and both the mob and the mob family and the mobsters, as well as the chief executives and the top level guys at these corporations, know that small moves make small money. So they would go for big paydays, big goals, big dreams, and they would achieve those goals and paydays and take risks to make sure those things happen. So often in the mob, they would formulate a plan with a big scheme. They would try to get as much money possible and think big. And that's what top level executives do. They think big before they try to enter a business or they try to solve a problem out there. They want to make sure that there is enough money worth their time, effort, and investment to cash out on in the end. There you have it, folks. This is my video on how mobsters influence the today's business world, and the correlation between mobsters and top level executives, the mob and the corporation, and everything that happened in today's business world has a lot of roots in history in the mafia. So mobsters have very similar characteristics to some of the most successful business people we admire today. People admired mobsters back then because they were flashy, they were doing things, and they were respected. And today, the respect has shifted to executives such as Elon Musk and people that are doing things out of the ordinary. And those people have the same characteristics, have the same drive, the same will, the same respect as mobsters did in the past. And there's a lot of things that you could learn from the mob in terms of business and entrepreneurial skills to make sure that your business thrives and grows at the level that the mob was able to grow their businesses. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please go ahead, hit the like button for me and subscribe to my channel. As always, I appreciate it. I'll catch you guys here in the next video.